These are clear coated, but unfortunately they began to rust a little bit on the bottom. So I picked up a variety of paints from Michael's. Picking up a U-Haul truck and a car dolly, and picking up a 67 Cougar GT. There it is.
Almost in the cornfield.
Wow, check that thing out. Holy crap, it's like a barn find. So my power steering pulley has been sitting on the workbench. I'm gonna paint it with this new paint I got. So looking forward to how it turns out. All right, so this tie rod end I managed to get clear coated the other day, cleaned it up, and it's looking pretty good. The threads were pretty rusty after letting it sit for like a week, so I had to re-dip it. So now I am putting new grease in the joints. Here's a new boot from NPD, and I think it's ready to go on. Here, put this in the vise and see if this thing goes on smoothly. It's even got a number on it. So this isn't the top Concours boot. This is like the mid one. Still considered Concours, but I know you can get even more correct boots from, I think it's Scott Fuller, but they're like 20 bucks a piece, and I think this one was like $6, so just figured I'd go for the mid-range one. So I got the boot on. I ended up using just the vice grips and just slowly clamping around and tightening them and clamping. Went on pretty good, feels pretty tight, so I'm pretty happy with this little boot here. And now I'm going to work on the other tie rod. Have to put new grease in this one and probably loosen it up and then put the new boot on. All right, got both sides done. Now to check on the outer tie rods, because I have those soaking in the molasses bucket right now to kind of clean up like this portion of them. I've got both the tie rods out here, outer tie rods, drying. I just sprayed them in clear coat. Looking really good. I just pulled these out of the molasses tank like half an hour ago, cleaned them off, and now they're painted and drying. Did another coat on the power steering pulley with the Krylon. Really happy with this stuff. I'm gonna have to go pick up a couple more cans of it. So I managed to get the strut rod ground off a little bit. The bracket was just rusted to the actual like bushing, so I had to grind it off and work on putting these together for a little bit. These are clear coated, but unfortunately they began to rust a little bit on the bottom. I'm either gonna leave it or strip these again and redo them. But I have everything I need to rebuild them. Got the perches there, the shafts that go here, and those boxes there. Got ball joints, so I got everything to rebuild these. And there's new lower control arms. So just trying to figure out what I want to do with the rust. So here's the front bumper. Have it sitting on my makeshift workbench. I'm going to use some solvent and clean it up, and then probably use some steel wool to polish it. So I picked up a variety of paints from Michael's, a couple different oil paints, like 24 different colors. And I posted on the Cougar forums asking people if they had any experience or documentation of factory drive shaft markings. Got a couple responses from Royce Peterson and Jeff Spiegel. They're both very knowledgeable when it comes to Cougars and Mustangs. And so one of the things they were saying is that there's 3 stripes. I believe it was light blue and then 2 other colors. I'm thinking they were probably where you can kind of see right here where it was the metal would have been protected so it didn't pit, and there might be one farther down. And then on each yoke they would have been painted a medium orange color, medium to dark orange, to identify which yoke would have gone with which tube. And so both yokes are going to be getting a orange paint. Jeff did mention that the yokes were painted orange before being welded to the tube, and so there will be it won't be perfectly painted along the edge right here. It'll be kind of almost like burned from being welded. And also the machined areas, like here and then inside would be bare metal. So that's what I'm gonna work on now. I gotta figure out a good orange. I somewhat remember the shade of orange that was on the yoke when I was cleaning up the drive shaft, so I'm going to try to replicate that and see how it turns out. So I have the front and rear yokes painted orange, and per the forms, from front to rear it'd be light blue, red, and then light green, about midway, ending about midway, and then the rear is marked with a pale yellow stripe. So I'm thinking this is the rear stripe right here, and then the front and rear, this will probably be light blue, and then red, and then light green, probably this one. So here's a light blue, and here's the pale yellow. And now on to figuring out the red and the light green stripes. These stripes are done. Not entirely sure how accurate the color or shade is to what they would have been, but at the end of the day, I'm mostly doing this because I like to do this kind of stuff, and this car will never be judged in a concours event, at least in the near future. Maybe someday I'll do a full restoration on it and it'll be there and it'll be judged, but not anytime soon. So it's just something I like to do. Is concours stuff's kind of fun to me. I like researching this stuff. I finished clear coating both the outer tie rods. These are done and ready to go, so now I need to grease them and put new boots on. And I also am currently soaking the new adjusting sleeves and the hardware, the clamps, in my degreaser bucket, because those came from the MPD or West Coast Cougar, I don't know, wherever I bought them from. They came painted black. Factory, they would have been like a bare steel. So I'm soaking those. Hopefully the degreaser takes the paint off, and then I can just clear coat them. So I spent a little bit of time a couple days ago just kind of taking apart the proportioning valve for the power steering. Got cap off, a couple little simple things, nothing too crazy. I wasn't really sure where to go from here, but I just figured I'd look up a kind of like a guide on how to do it, one by Motor Trend. So now I'm working on getting this taken apart. As far as I know, there's no specialty tools required. So I'm hoping I'll be able to rebuild this. And yeah, I'm just trying to take every step I can to make sure the steering will be operating properly. All right, guys, so after screwing around with this for a while, I kept trying to remove this nut, and the shaft kept spinning. Something just fell up. And I looked up a video, and I realized that there's a pin which goes in this side through I guess this shaft on the other end that stops the shaft from spinning, but my pin had fallen out when I took these bolts out. If that pin comes out, then you can't do turn the shaft, or you can turn the shaft, but it just won't come out. It'll just spin. So let's see if it works. It's gonna. Learning curve, as always. There's that. There's that. So I got the steering control valve taken apart. I got the name right this time. I had to go through a couple different YouTube videos to figure out how to get this out, as well as the stud here. Ended up landing on a KTL video, the high-level Cougar restoration shop in Virginia, and that helped me get it taken apart. I think now I'm going to dip the parts that can handle the degreaser in degreaser. So this, probably this is brass. I don't know what would happen to that. That's aluminum, I believe, so that shouldn't go. Some of the nuts and bolts and stuff, and yeah, the spring and some couple other things. Don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet. I don't want to cause any damage to this piece, so I probably just clean this by hand. But yeah, I'm gonna start dipping this stuff, and we'll see how it turns out.